Okay, kids, I'm playing with really small freaking screws. So I'm doing my whole, I got my, that's what it takes for me to be able to see this shit. It's so freaking small. So I'm going to put some screws, my really teeny tiny 1mm by 3mm screws. All right, so I got a test window and a chunk of the fiberglass that was cut out. And you can see I've got this one positioned where it needs to be. And I wanted to use these teeny tiny ass screws. Pick a couple of them up, and they even get stuck in like your skin folds. Can't get out. Get out, God damn it. Okay, there we go. So there is one screw. It's 1 by 3mm. Super tiny. So I'm using I measured it out at 0.60 millimeters. Yeah. Super tiny. Teeny, tiny, 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 tiny. This thing is just ridiculous how small it is. I don't even think it has a point. I don't even think it cuts. I think it just burns through. But I did a little test on one of my old pieces of glass and some fiberglass in here. So there is the screw held in, and you can see on the backside, it does come through just a hair. Looking back on some of my detail pics, I'm going to show you here in a second, and there's a bunch of screws that hold this thing on, but I'm not putting that many. The llama way over there has a bazillion screws that hold in all the glass work on to the fuselage. I'm not going to do that. I'd probably put 4 so that I can actually take the window off. All right, so what I thought I had was I thought that there were screws along this edge along here. In actuality, there's just a couple of them that are holding the window in. And I don't even think they're screws. They look like rivets. There are screws along here, along this window line. But, yeah. So, I'm just going to put, a couple screws down here. I'll put a couple more up here. And maybe one or so. One on each side, just to hold it in. All right. Freestanding, attached bubble windows. So I ended up using 8 screws per window. I only had one that stripped out. So as I'd say it's a success, but when you're doing these, you got to be really careful because the plastic is super thin. I tried to make it into a flathead because it's stripped out, and it messed up my window. So you can see right here where it actually melted the plastic from me trying to get the screw out because it stripped the head. But all in all, I'd say it's a pretty good success. But it looks really nice. Now I just got to they cut the bottom part out of these so that they don't frost up or whatever reasons they have for in there. And we're gonna call it good. Yeehaw!